Robin the Hoodie outwits the sheriff. Robin the Hoodie, that most famous and romantic of British rogues, lived near Nottingham in the time of King John. As a young man, Robin was outlawed for breaking into the king's carriage and stealing gold and a pair of sunglasses from the glove compartment. An elderly woman spotted him fleeing the scene and described him to the king's guard as a Robin Hoodie type. The name stuck. Robin fled to the safety of his local park in Nottingham, where he decided that he would steal gold, silver and iPods from rich joggers and dog walkers to give to the poor. He soon attracted a gang of vagabonds and outlaws who lived in the park with him. There was Litter John, a large youth who left a trail of fried chicken wrappers, cigarette butts and crisp packets wherever he went. There was the wily Will Scarface, and there was Much, the dealer's son, who was famed for the quality of his Lincoln green. They were also joined by a rogue chip shop worker named Friar Tuck, who could always be relied upon to crack heads should an enemy call him try a fuck. Robin and his gang were famous for their skill at spitting, and Robin himself was the greatest of all. It was said that he could place a wad of flame between a flying pigeon's eyes at 200 feet, and it was by this skill that his enemy, the Sheriff of Nottingham, would try to bring about his downfall. The Sheriff was responsible for preventing antisocial behaviour in the Nottingham area, and Robin the Hoodie was a constant thorn in his side. Every time the Sheriff went to the park, Robin would hit him on the back of the neck with a wad of spit, and one time the outlaw smeared dog excrement under the door handle of the Sheriff's carriage. The Sheriff tried and tried to think of ways to catch Robin, but the youth was too nimble. Then one day he had an idea. The Sheriff sent for a tailor and had the man make a beautiful silver-colour hooded sweatshirt with diamante zips and gold-embroidered dollar signs all over it. Then he announced that he would be holding a city-wide spitting competition, and that the beautiful silver hoodie would be the prize. He knew that Robin would never be able to resist the challenge, and he knew that when Robin turned up, his men-at-arms could pounce on the troublesome youth. Back in the park, Robin and his gang were busy vandalising the swings when word of the competition reached them. At once they stopped, lit a joint of Lincoln green, and began debating what to do. "It's a trick of the Sheriff's," cried Litter John. "We must not go." "Perhaps you weren't listening," said Robin. "It's a silver hoodie with diamante zips and gold embroidery dollar signs on it. I must have it." "We could disguise ourselves," said Friar Tuck. "Let's mug some weedy goth kids and steal their clothes." "Like it," said Robin. "Gang, let's go." The outlaws crept up behind a group of weedy goth youths who were sitting under a tree writing poetry and complaining about their parents. Quick as a flash, they covered the goths in spit, tied them up, dressed themselves in the goths' clothes, put on a spot of eyeliner, dyed the hair purplish black, and set off for the spitting contest in town. The competition was to be held underneath the walls of Nottingham Castle, and a great many people had turned out to watch. The Sheriff had drawn a red line on the ground, behind which the competitors had to stand. Their target, a row of empty cola cans, was 50 yards away. Robin and his gang lined up with the other contestants and hawked up their best phlegm in preparation. A trumpet sounded, and the competition began. 100 youths began spitting at the row of cola cans, as all of the townspeople watched, applauding whenever someone landed a direct hit. Robin and his gang shot splendidly. Each one of them hit his can with every single flame wad, and Robin was getting most of his inside the O of the cola logo. Above them, the Sheriff was pacing the walls of his castle, looking for the outlaws, but he could see no sign of them. Just a bunch of youths and a few goth kids. Where were the outlaws? Surely they were on their way and would arrive soon. As the competition went on, those who missed their cans began to be eliminated. Fresh cans were brought out and placed progressively further and further away until only 2 contestants were left, Robin and an out-of-town champion named Darren of Doncaster, who spat through his 2 front teeth with deadly accuracy. A final can was brought out and placed a full 100 yards away, and Darren of Doncaster stepped up to the mark first. He squinted, tossed a few blades of grass in the air to test the wind direction, and then spat. His yellowed mass of mucus whistled through the air and struck the can with a blink. The crowd murmured its approval and waited to see what the unknown Goth would do. Robin stepped up, hopped up a vast lump of flame, and blew it as hard as he could. The flame soared long and high and then plopped right into the open spout of the can. The crowd went wild. Robin stepped onto a podium to collect his prize from the sheriff himself, who had still not recognised the young outlaw underneath his eyeliner and baggy black clothes. Beaming with pride, Robin slipped on the silver hoodie and bowed left and right. As he did so, however, the hood popped over his head. The sheriff gasped as he recognised his enemy, and his hand went for his sword. Robin reacted quickly, spitting into the sheriff's open mouth and springing off the podium into the crowd as the sheriff gagged and choked. The outlaws found each other among the throng and fled, Litter John covering their retreat with a deadly hail of greasy kebab trays that caused the sheriff's men to slip and slide everywhere. The sheriff himself trod on a particularly greasy specimen and fell right onto his coccyx. As he ranted and raged on the floor and howled something about suing the council for this, the outlaws fled back to the park, where they melted into the woods to spend the evening drinking cider, smoking Lincoln Green, and admiring Robin's new silver hoodie. The end. Don't forget to like and subscribe and press the wee bell notification. And a huge big thank you to all my subscribers and patrons. See you next week. Bye bye.